YouTube audience.
I don't have any ads.
How come I can't?
You didn't give me any ads.
Oh, you're right.
Hi, guys.
John, I got to kill your
hi,
mic.
Matthew.
Hi.
John, wave at me when you're done listening to that because I can't run that on the YouTube.
Louie.
Are you done? John, yes, John, if you can hear me, I have to kill your mic. I can't. That can't be running.
John's talking, but we don't hear him.
He's
Because he
silent.
killed his
All right, I had
mic.
to kill his
Yeah,
mic.
John.
There.
John.
Tough to answer questions
John,
with
John,
Where are you,
John,
John?
Yeah, go ahead. I said about 3 minutes ago.
Please,
John.
please,
Frat
everyone.
and who? Under Armour?
Frat and precision today. So.
How can we be on YouTube already?
I hit the start button because it's 12:03.
Chris, what are you doing? Seriously.
Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores.
Joe,
He's so easy.
Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores brings you Garage Logic Podcast number 1466 on this day, January 20, 2025, Blue Monday, Martin Luther King Day, and the day of Trump's inauguration. It was 52 degrees as a record high on this day in 1908, and it was 32 below on the morning of this day in 1888. And I have some more information I'd like to discuss. There was 17 inches of snow on this day in 1982.
In 82, 17 inches, okay?
All right. Now, does anybody remember anything about that storm? Because on the 22nd, 2 days later in 1982, another 17 inches of snow. It was the year the Super Bowl was played in the Silverdome in Michigan, and San Francisco beat Cincinnati 26-21. But I remember that being... Go ahead.
that was when you got the call from the
call?
CP.
Oh, yeah. I got a lot
From
of
the alley. The call from the alley, right?
No, the call from the alley was during North Stars Blackhawks playoff in April, probably of the same year.
Okay.
Oh.
Where the
Okay.
car I liked got stuck. No, this one was, it was very difficult to get out of town. So what's 17 and 17? That's 34 combined inches of snow in 2 days. It was hellion. That was the year
Did you have a
think,
lift kit on that car?
I think I had a computer problem in Detroit that
You tossed
year.
her out of the old press box.
No, it slipped.
Gotcha.
It slipped.
It slipped.
And I clearly remember that in '82, at this time of year, the Super Bowl was held on January 24th. It would have been the Sunday. So the 20th that year would have been 20, would have been Wednesday, Wednesday. And that was we were all trying to get to Detroit, those of us in the sports writing game. And it was just a hell of a long blizzard that week in the Twin Cities. And that concludes my weather announcement.
I was
Hail the
delivering-
flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Haidt in the newsroom, and of course, the rookie. Here is your flashlight king,
Sorry, Matt.
fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Soucheray.
Because we answer all questions on Garage Logic. Rookie, I have your answer. We were reading an email the other day from a fellow who was telling us about the reach of GL, and he went to a buddy's house in Montana, and they had the big GL flag. And the reason he was going there is he had done a favor for an old college buddy involving a bottle of bourbon. I'm sorry, the house was in Wyoming. And you were wondering what bottle of bourbon would have compelled such a story.
Yeah.
It was Elijah Craig,
Elijah
a private
Craig.
labeled bottle of
Yes.
Elijah Craig.
Elijah Craig is very, very...
What's private labeled bottle mean?
It's probably like a different... It's not just the
Well-
regular Elijah Craig.
We don't have our backdrop up here.
Right.
That's
I'll
fine.
fix
with
that.
I can only fix one thing at a time.
Eli?
I can help you with that because Mr. Fratelloni did that private label deal with our buddies at Bent Brew
Oh, yeah,
Distillery.
he did, yeah.
And he made some for us.
Yeah.
I still have the bottle.
Right.
Right. That's
And I have a ruling request from Kelly, a male Kelly. As a member of the Royal Order of the 21sters, I need a ruling on whether the 21st of January is a day of delight, since it is on this date, tomorrow, that the average temperature begins to rise.
Whoops, that's shocking, Joe. Holy
You come with your own sound effects, Stoops. We are
Holy
such
mackerel.
professionals,
We
you know.
just really know how to run
Maybe
an
we should have
operation,
taken the
don't we?
day off today.
Program directors around the country tune into this show and go, "Really? This show?
They listen to it to find out how not to do it.
Yep."
There goes another one. I'll just wait in case this one.
Just in case.
I did not do that on purpose. I
gracious.
swear to the Lord.
Oh, God.
There's some backdrop screens that we put up there, like the projector, the screens you raise for a slideshow, and he's had a little bit of trouble with them there. Oh my God! Where was I?
I swear to God, I did not drop those on purpose.
I believe you.
Okay. I'm just clumsy.
Not helping your cause.
Right. The fact that he believes it is even made worse.
These backdrops, let's admit it, looks like Reavers and I are photo bombing you.
Yeah.
Seriously. You've got one of us on each shoulder.
Yeah.
Please let me get back to where
That's
I
the
was.
way he likes it.
Do what now?
As a member of the Order of 21sters, I need a ruling on whether the 21st of January is a day of delight, since it is on this date that the average temperature begins to rise. Similarly, would the 21st of July be a day of sadness, since the average temperature begins to drop? Thanks and good luck, Cross Junction, Kelly. Kelly, the day of delight is the day after the winter solstice. So we've already passed the day of delight for the Royal Order of the 21sters. Tomorrow is just a bonus day in the springtime of the Royal Order of the 21sters.
Okay, yeah.
For example, we're now reveling in how light it is compared to what it was just 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Are you having a nice spring so far?
Very good spring.
Okay.
And we don't have sadness on the 21st of July, because then we're in our long, long, wonderful glide path to what passes for winter if you're a Royal Order member. Our day of sadness would be June 21st, when you have the summer solstice. So right now, Kelly, no ruling needed tomorrow. Just enjoy it as another notch in your wonderful spring. In fact, I smelled some spring yesterday on the air.
Really?
Yep. I'm very sensitive to that.
Oh, in the air. I thought you said on you.
When it was 18 below.
I
You
walked
smelled
Saturday and Sunday.
spring.
I got news for you. 7 below is nothing if there's no wind. There's
Well,
nothing.
it was 18 below where I live.
Well, you live in Alaska or something.
There you
I
go
don't
with
know
the
where you are.
derogatory commentary again.
know,
Joe, may I say something?
Of course.
We have been unburdened by what has been.
Did that crackpot get to speak today?
Trump?
She was standing behind. She was standing there. Well, look, she's on the CNN right now on the TV.
You know, every woman of the left is going to be hypocritical today, because they're going to rip Melania Trump, and every one of those women would die to be her, to look like her. Is she classy looking or what?
I received a text from my oldest daughter in our group text.
she
and she said,
ripping,
No,
Melania?
she said her outfit is
Well, look at her.
perfect.
She looks like $1 million, and if you go by Bitcoin, maybe 59 billion,
right.
which I don't pretend to understand.
You know who also had a really nice outfit today? I don't know if you guys caught this, but John Fetterman.
He had the shorts and the hoodie.
He wore basketball shorts and a hooded sweatshirt.
To the inauguration.
That's
and
beautiful.
I think it's worth noting. I think it's an American, what's the word I want?
Institution?
Well, you introduce all the presidents for this delightful ceremony, and now number 42, here comes George W. Bush and his wife, and then they had Clinton and his wife, and then here comes Obama, no wife.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
No.
Spite.
Now something has to be going on, and the only reason I say that is this is a command performance. This is like skipping your father's funeral.
Right.
This is a command performance. You show up at this. You don't get to say, I don't like it or I don't want it. You show
Okay,
up.
but here's why something is going on. She skipped Jimmy Carter's
Oh,
funeral.
that's true. You're
No,
right.
I'm aware of that.
And that would
Oh.
be that would
That's also a command performance.
right. That would not be a reason that just because Donald Trump is there, you're honoring Jimmy Carter. This one,
Are you saying that there might be dissension in the Obama household?
I don't think it's as smooth as silk.
Is Barry performing the game of flaws?
Well, if he is, he has really lost big time. Because that's very strange. They pass themselves off as this very hip, popular couple, fist bumping their way through a presidency or two, and suddenly she doesn't attend Carter's funeral and she doesn't attend the inauguration. He came out by himself.
I can't wait to.
You'd almost think that maybe because she didn't go, he might have considered not going. And I don't think. See, here's what I think. I don't think she's not there. I don't think it's an anti-Trump thing. I think it's something between those two.
I do too.
Sure.
I don't think it's an anti-Trump thing. Because she certainly would not be anti-Carter. He's a Democrat.
Right.
So, whatever. That's just, you know what that is? Just a tidbit.
Do you want to go down conspiracy corner with the Obamas?
No.
Oh.
No.
Did you see W's entrance, Joe?
Yeah.
Of all the ex-presidents, I really, really want to hang out with W.
Oh, he's cool.
Do you
I
have
have
the
a
chest
feeling-
out, the shoulders back.
Well, he was laughing about something, and somebody in the audience caught his eye, and he's giving him the wink and the nod.
Yeah.
I have a feeling down at the ranch, he's driving around in some old 1967 Jeep with no top and no doors.
That's right.
Just shooting that shit, just randomly.
You know what else he'd do? California would not burn if W lived in California because he loves to clean up the
Got
brush.
to brush.
He looks like he's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
May
A
I
lot of
ask a
fun.
dumb question? Does
Well-
Trump get introduced as a former president?
No.
That's what I'm asking. I don't
That
know.
really was a dumb question.
Well, I mean, not introduced, but acknowledged.
No, he's there to be
Okay.
inaugurated as the new president.
So they just skip.
I think they skipped that.
Is this a
45.
first? This is a first in our nation's history, is
no,
it not?
No. There's
Oh,
another
what was the
president
first?
who's had non-consecutive terms. I believe it was
Grover.
Andrew. Was it Andrew Johnson, John?
No, it's Grover Cleveland
Grover Cleveland.
Alexander.
Really?
So that's not a dumb
No,
question.
Grover
No,
Cleveland.
it
yeah.
is.
Well, we're used to you asking dumb questions.
That's
so,
my job.
Yeah.
I have a little information for you on the inauguration speeches, because I knew you'd be wondering. The longest speech was William Henry Harrison.
Oh yeah, he went on.
He gave the longest speech, and it turned out he was a president for the shortest amount of time. His address lasted nearly 2 hours, and in which he delivered 8,445 words, but it was a bitterly, bitterly cold and wet day on March 4, 1841. He died a month later
Yeah.
because of the cold he caught giving a speech that lasted 2 hours.
That's karma, huh?
Yeah. Trump does not give long speeches. His first one was the shortest since Jimmy Carter, 1,433 words. What else do I have? Joe Biden was a little long-winded. The shortest inaugural addresses were what number? The shortest ever was George Washington, 135 words. Franklin D. Roosevelt on January 20, 1945, his fourth inauguration. He probably had nothing to say by then.
Right.
559 words. Lincoln, 700 words. And then the 10 longest, as I say, were William Henry Harrison, William Howard Taft, James K. Polk, James Monroe, Benjamin Harrison, Calvin Coolidge, William McKinley, Martin Van Buren, Herbert Hoover, and Abraham Lincoln. Now, I'm going to make a link. I think the longest inaugural addresses all reflect a time in American history when the spoken word was still the principal part of communication.
Okay.
I mean,
I'll buy
today
that.
you got your Snapchat and your buzz bombs and your Twitter and your
Buzzball.
whatever. And,
a new one.
but these guys, this is it, baby. Let's talk, because that's all we know. We don't have phones and
No TikTok.
Yeah, we don't have TikTok. Although that really doesn't play out when I go to the shortest because they're also old timers. So never mind. It was a lousy.
In theory, you had me going for a while.
In theory, I had you going, didn't
Yeah,
I?
yeah.
We all shook our head. Yep, Joe's right.
Yeah, you can get them.
2025.
Now, where are the Bidens going? They're en route now to Joint Base Andrews.
Aren't they going to go back to
Delaware? I guess
Delaware?
that's flying off to private life, which hardly distinguishes behavior from what he's been doing the last 4 years anyway. He didn't. He was spent a lot of time in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware.
He's packed up the tube socks and the tank tops and T-shirts and heading home.
I have been interested, as you boys know. I've been interested in what seems like this outbreak of what's been called drone footage. And I've said all along, it's not the drones that interest me. It's the things that clearly are not drones.
Right.
And if 50% of them are headlights on a kitchen window, there's still 50% that are very intriguing. And in conjunction with this time of this plethora of sightings, not only in New Jersey, but I guess all over the world, along have come people suspected of being credible. This Dr. Greer, Stephen Greer.
I love the way you just put that.
Yeah. He began to tease the idea that a great revelation was coming, and I put that in my back pocket. I'd like a great revelation.
Right.
I'd like to know what's going on. I'd like to know if there is something going on, why is it being kept from us? And because I'm willing to be open to these things, right?
Sure.
And sure enough, all last week, the great reveal was forecasted to be shown this past Saturday on News Nation, which is an off-brand news site, right? The major, so-called major news sites are not touching this. They've occasionally shown you, another video from New Jersey, but they haven't gone into any of this, either because they've dismissed it or they've been told not to or whatever, but they just haven't. You know, the New York Times has had a piece on the drones in New Jersey, but they're not covering this. So this fell into the hands of News Nation.
Now,
John, who owns News Nation?
No, we've talked about them previously, Joe. They're the unbiased one, and it started out from being Chicago-related, WGN.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And I've seen a couple of their newscasts, and they're great newscasts.
They'll give you both sides.
They get the stuff. But anyway, they're off-brand at this point.
Definitely.
You know, I can get them on my TV. I just set into the microphone, News Nation, and up it popped. So Saturday, I watched this hour-long special that featured an Australian fellow named Cothart. Was it Ross Cothart?
Yeah, something like that.
So now we're on an off-brand station, and we have to turn to an Australian to tell us what's going on. But the principal focus of this hour-long reveal was Coulthard's interview. John, will you clarify his first name for me, please?
Sure.
Was his interview with a fellow named, I have it here, I'm looking it up, Jacob Baker. I'm sorry, Barber. Jacob Barber, military veteran, who was a helicopter pilot involved in the retrieval of a UAP, an unidentified aerial phenomenon.
I have a couple minutes. Would you like to hear it?
Sure, just so you know what I was watching, and then I'll tell you what
Wait
I
a
thought.
second. You were right. It's Ross.
Ross. Yep.
Ross Coulthard.
What were you? What was I? Ross, I was a highly talented airplane mechanic who got to deploy on a number of presidential support missions.
But Jake was no ordinary mechanic. Being recruited into the Air Force's elite combat control unit meant he had a resume that reads like something out of an action thriller. Helicopter pilot, free-fall parachutist, expert marksman, and the recipient of a NATO top-secret security clearance, a legacy of his service in Bosnia, where he won an award for an act of heroism. In addition to reviewing his official documentation, News Nation spoke with 3 former Special Operations soldiers who corroborate Barber's credentials and claims.
Stop. And this goes on. I had no doubt that this Jake Barber is who he says he is.
Okay.
He is a very
He looks like a total badass.
yeah. He's a significantly trained military
Operative.
Yep. And he was assigned. This was in Nevada to retrieve an egg-shaped device, supposedly, on the ground. But the only film you get of it is it's taken from the helicopter, and you see the rope or chain or strap dangling from the helicopter onto the ground, where people we don't see apparently have wrapped this egg-shaped device in some sort of canvas embrace so that it can now be hoisted up into the helicopter and taken to a secure site. Mm-hmm. Okay. That left a lot of questions for me. Where are the guys on the ground who fashioned the canvas sack that this thing was put in? And it had a bit of the disappointment to it that, remember the Geraldo Rivera special?
Highly anticipated.
The highly
special.
anticipated Geraldo Rivera special.
Al Capone's vault.
Where he was going to break through a brick wall at Al Capone's Chicago headquarters. And
The
we thought,
whole nation was watching.
Oh, I watched it.
It was bigger than the moon
right
landing.
here, sucker.
Yeah, it was.
Bigger
It
than
was-
the moon
It was
landing.
bigger than the moon landing. We're going to shatter that brick wall. We're going to get in there. And we didn't know what we were going to find. Boxes of gold or skeletons or
Cigars.
whatever. And it turned out there was some dead mice and some dust. There was nothing in there. Absolutely nothing. I had a bit of that feeling watching the retrieval of this device. However, this Jacob Barber struck me as the real deal. He said that upon this retrieval, he was overcome with some sort of emotional grip that he had never experienced before in his life.
Uh-oh.
And he began to even break down talking to this Ross Coulthard. He quickly stopped himself from crying, but he this is Jack Carr's James Reese character. This is a bad guy. This is a tough guy who's been through all kinds of things. And he said it felt like a feminine spirit. And it was loving as hell. And I'm still thinking, okay, you let me down a little here on the Al Capone aspect of this, but this guy seems sincere. God damn it, Reavers.
What?
Why are you laughing?
Because I'm watching Trump speak right now. And when there's not the sound on, you start to do the...
You do your own speech.
A lot of people like Trump.
So,
He's
wait
pointing
a minute.
at everybody. I'm sorry.
So, was it some kind of feeling that came from the egg that overwhelmed him?
Yes.
Oh, my God. Really?
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So he
And
felt
then
like he was being
became-
possessed by something.
And then he and others involved also became extremely ill.
Oh, ill.
He lost all the hair on his body, and the
What?
skin was falling off his arms. And
I had a girlfriend that did that to me once.
he was treated by an immunologist at Stanford, who it became clear to the immunologist that he had been experiencing too much radiation.
Wow.
And he's recovered, but he does not know how long he has to live because he said, I don't know what happened. I mean, I could get cancer tomorrow or 2 years from now. I have no idea.
And how long ago did this encounter take place? Was that described or was that told?
I don't remember if they said when it was.
Okay.
But
Woofda.
But that's it. I mean, you're left believing that something's going on, but you know, if you're
Okay.
going to keep parading to the American public people who ostensibly are going to tell you about it, my theory is they should quit telling you about the tip of the iceberg because they all say they fear for their life. Okay, A, we don't know who they fear. We don't know what agents of what do they fear. And two, if they fear that much, why not lay it all out? So if you are murdered, it would become terribly apparent who did it. So why don't you just lay it all out there? Now, that might be the ultimate question facing this, you can foghorn this, facing this UFO community.
Wait a minute.
Why can't we lay this all out?
What did you mean by murdered? In order to shut you up, to
Yes.
silence you?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I'm
There
with you.
are dozens of these Jacob, what did I say his name was? Barber. Jacob Barber types who have their resumes are not to be questioned. They have this experience, and they say they fear being murdered. Well, if that's the case, then why don't you tell us everything? And that way, they wouldn't dare murder you because we'll know who they are.
Okay, so that brings us to today and what's happening right now in the Capitol. Do you think he's going to find out and he's going to tell us? Because they also say he's going to tell us about JFK. Do you buy any of that? I don't.
Two ways to answer it. It's Trump, so you never know.
Right.
The second way to answer it is if what were to be told could not be handled by the human race, and they make him believe that, then no, he won't tell us. Because that's one of the theories is we can't tell people about this. It upends everything.
Civilization,
I
yeah.
suppose it upends religious beliefs. I suppose it upends everything.
Law and order.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. But again, coming away from this, and I clicked, don't worry, they had commercials. I didn't miss any of the Detroit-Washington game. Coming away from this, I don't know any more than I did going into it, except I've been introduced to Jacob Barber, and I happen to believe that he's sincere.
Okay.
I happen to believe that that's sincere. Pat told us today when he arrived that his garage door didn't
did.
work.
That's
and he had to
right.
get out of the car and go back and manually use the code buttons to close the door.
I believe his
74.
his direct quote was, "Joe, I had to push the thing."
I had to push the thing. And I immediately told him, well, get a hold of Precision Door. It's exactly what they take care of. And he will, because I'm going to give him the number when I see him again. You put this in your telephone contacts. This is your garage door guy. Precision Door, MN. 612-263-6985. If you want to go online and book an appointment, that's great. Precision Door, MN, one word. PrecisionDoorMN.com. If you need a new garage door, they have models for every budget. They get an on-site consultation, is free. You don't have to bring the garage door to them. They're the best. The GLers have verified this. They serve Western Wisconsin, the entire metro. They don't charge more for weekend visits. They're your garage door guy. PrecisionDoorMN.com.
not your mother. The Joe Soucheray Show.
Hey, GLers, some exciting news here in 2025. We just announced our very first ever GLer of the Week on Friday, and now it's your turn. That's right, we're celebrating our biggest fans of the podcast by naming one member of our town council the GLer of the Week every single week throughout all of 2025. Make sure that you tune in every Friday when the GLer of the Week will be recognized on the show by Joe, excuse me, for being one of the biggest fans in all of Gumption County. Here's the deal. We will pick a winner of our annual town council members with an active membership as of Sunday night. If you are already an annual member, great. You don't got to do anything at all. Monthly members, you just need to update your subscription to an annual subscription before Monday. And of course, if you're not a member yet, well, now's the time to join to become one of the people on our list for the GL of the Week, and also a $10 Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores gift certificate is yours. GL of the Week, find out more at garagelogic.com.
When we left Friday, I don't want to be done with this show called The Great Reveal. They intimate that the way these supposed beings are communicating with soldiers, in this case, is telepathically. And that they can't understand what these supposed beings are saying, but in their brains, it all gets translated for them, so they know exactly what they're saying. One guy told of encountering. Oh, never mind. It's just so.
Come on, you can't do that to us.
Swing and a miss.
I saw an interview with a soldier who was part of 4 guys in a Jeep who went up into the range near Nevada to also begin previewing a retrieval, and a guy walked towards them. He was wearing his BDUs, his battle dress uniform, and they thought it's another soldier. And look at how blue he is. He's cold, and one of the soldiers got out of his Jeep to take off his jacket, prepared to warm this guy. The guy gets closer. He doesn't have any ears. His eyes are a little goofy. And he's not blue from the cold. That's just the color of him. And he said in a language that the guy said I thought was Norwegian. He couldn't understand the guy, but in his brain he knew exactly what the guy was looking for. He was looking for a tool to fix his craft. He needed some. And then he mentioned a metal that we'd never heard of, that the soldier never heard of. The soldier was kind of funny. He said, I know a guy at the community college who's a metallurgist. He might know what you're talking about. And the guy, the supposed alien, felt disappointed. Oh, God, like this. Like, you guys don't have what I need to fix my deal. And he went. And again, this guy said, telepathically, I understood everything this guy was saying. And he didn't harm them or anything. He went back and he got in his ship, which is also a bit of an egg shape, and he took off, but it didn't run right. It wasn't running right.
like Archie's jalopy.
Yeah, it was missing or something.
Yeah. She's running on 7.
Right. And the guy said, I didn't have what he needed. And off the guy went, apparently looking for this metal that he needed.
I know that disappointment, like anytime you're trying to fix something at your mom's house, and she's like, well, I might have a screwdriver.
Yeah,
and that's invariably in a kitchen drawer.
Yep.
Yes, yeah.
Blue, you say, huh?
You know what, Reavers?
Hey, talk to that blue fellow.
I hope
there.
I've couched my remarks carefully enough to tell you that I am skeptical.
Okay.
I'm terribly skeptical. Not of Barber. Jacob Barber, I think, is the real deal. I really do. But the other way to look at it, too, is what's in it for these guys to make up these fantastic stories?
Big TV deal, book deal?
They're too afraid. They're too afraid. Why don't you tell us everything? That way, if it's the old novel twist or the old movie twist, tell us everything for your own safety.
Like the evil plot?
Yeah, tell us the whole thing, and that way, if you're bumped off, we at least know to go and get somebody.
This is what he was going to do.
Right, but you're assuming that they want to take that risk.
Well, whatever.
Because none of us would do that, right? given being in that position, right?
Well, I don't know, Chris. Maybe I would.
Did they nickname him Papa Smurf?
Yes.
When we left Friday, I don't think we knew yet on Friday that the state Supreme Court ruled in favor of Democrats.
You're right. Nope, we did
who
not.
were saying that Walz was too premature in his willingness to accommodate the DFL with an early election for the seat in 40B.
Mm-hmm.
Many more questions have arisen about that, by the way. Would you care to hear some of them?
Yeah.
Okay, so we learned that the Supreme Court said, Walz, who are you kidding? It was against the law for you to do what you did. Right. Now, so what? Walz pulls the knucklehead defense again and says, well, he's just a lying fellow.
Careful.
And so now the DFL is going to continue to stay away because they're still pouting that they don't have the majority. And this might go on for months now because this special election might not be until March. All right. So, the order was issued at 5 o'clock Friday afternoon. The court quashed the writ for a new election. And so the order makes it clear that the governor cannot issue a writ until 22 days after the start of the legislative session. So 22 days after January 14th puts us at March 5. Can that be right? That's more than 22 days. March 5 is more than 22 days after January 14th.
Yes, much.
Well, that's what it says here in a Bill Glahn piece from the American Experiment. Figure at least 30 days for the election to run, and a Tuesday election day puts us on or about March 11. All right. I don't know where they're coming up with that math. But the other thing we've learned, so there is no election January 28th. The Democrats remain unseated.
Okay.
The Republicans believe they can continue to work, and they believe they can.
At least they're there.
Yeah. The other thing we've learned is that Paul Wickstrom was the Republican candidate in Roseville who ran against Curtis Johnson. Mm-hmm. Wickstrom, it turns out, knew last summer that Johnson wasn't living in Roseville.
Right.
Wickstrom knew last summer that Johnson had leased a studio apartment in Roseville for looks and didn't spend time there.
That's true.
All right. And then we also learned that the fellow who's now going to run in whenever they have the election, the fellow who's going to run against Wickstrom is a DFLer named David Gottfried. He also knew.
Yeah. When he was doing door-to-door stuff for the guy, and he knew then before the election. Yes.
So that has to tell you, or that does beg a question. If Wickstrom knew this, we're having a hard time getting a hold of him, by the way. If Wickstrom knew this prior to November 4th, why didn't he blow the whistle then?
It's a good question for when he comes on.
Well, we know why they. Oh, you mean Wickstrom?
Yeah, why didn't Wickstrom say, wait a minute, I'm running against a deadbeat here. He keeps claiming he lives in Roseville, but here's the proof that he doesn't.
Wait a minute. I thought he did.
He did.
He did?
He didn't. Wait, Wickstrom is the Republican, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he did,
He did.
In October, a month before the election. He absolutely did.
Well, he told who?
Of the world. We knew.
I believe it started on social, right, Kenny?
I'm pretty sure Alpha published it in October.
Well, then, why was nothing done?
Because he's a Republican in the state of Minnesota. Because isn't Garofalo the one that told us that?
I can answer why the Democrats didn't do anything.
Right.
My suspicion would be the Democrats didn't do anything because they considered that such a safe seat, and that they considered that Johnson would win so handily that nobody would give a bleep or pay any attention to it.
Correct.
That would be my answer for the DFL. But why would the Republicans stand by and allow themselves to be defeated by a guy who was ultimately going to be found out to be cheating?
Yeah, if you want to blame anybody, blame the Republican Party because they should have made a hell of a lot more noise than they did.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Keep trying to get Wickstrom.
I can email again.
We'll do it right now.
I don't know if I'm up to it.
I am looking at a story from the Pioneer Press November 1st, which was before the election, obviously, that he basically held a press conference, Wickstrom, and said Curtis Johnson does not live in the Roseville
Yeah, I have
area.
this story up the morning or the day we had Madam Speaker on.
Yeah.
And I looked at it and I referenced it when I was talking to her. And it's October. October was when he brought this to light.
Well, I think the only guy next for us to talk to is Wickstrom. I'm going to make every attempt to get him on tomorrow.
Rook, we'd really appreciate the opportunity to get on the show, answer some questions on how we got here and where we are going in our district.
Don't email
40B.
him. Did he provide a phone number?
When would be the best opportunity to get Paul on the show?
Did he provide a phone number?
Yes.
Then go in the other room right now and call him.
Joe, to answer your question, if Alpha prints something, according to the Star Tribune and any other liberal rag, it's not true.
Okay.
It's right-wing propaganda if it appears in Alpha.
Well, how about if it's true if, I suppose then they don't believe Gottfried and they don't believe Wickstrom.
And Democrats only turn on their own when they absolutely have to, when it's so obvious that wrong has been done, then they'll turn. Al Franken, a good example of that. Mm-hmm. You know, it took forever for them to turn on Al.
Mm-hmm. But this still leaves unanswered.
Yeah, it does.
Why the Republicans didn't run to the Secretary of State and say, hey, we got a phony running here. He ain't living in Roseville. Are you going to do that?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Are you writing it
I'm
down?
texting first.
Oh,
Then I'll
no,
call.
a phone call would beat the text.
Not
Yeah.
today.
Actually, there is a story, Kenny, October 25th, you're right, in the Star Tribune.
Okay, good. All right.
Roseville House District candidate's residency is questioned by GOP opponent Paul Wickstrom. So, that's almost 2 weeks, week and a half before
And
the
did
election.
they poo-poo it, it sounds like? In other words, they're just saying, yeah, that Republican running in Roseville, he's desperate. He's questioning residency.
You know, I bet they didn't poo-poo it, but it wasn't big splashy headlines. You know what I mean?
It appeared in the Saturday paper.
It was in the back there somewhere. 8A, you know.
Well, look at the judge's ruling on...
Wait, what do you got, John?
No, I was going to say, actually, I could go look because I have the online edition.
Yeah, do
I
it.
should go check and see
That'd be
where
fun.
they stuck it.
It'd be fun,
will.
yeah.
Yeah, do that, and we'll be back shortly.
We will.
Yeah.
I was 17, my old man was 55. If you do the math between the two of us, that's 72 years alive. An eternity, so it seemed to me. How could anything live that long? Now I say my folks were only 84 the year that they passed on. For a little while it seems you got time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you see 100 years ain't what it used to be. And my grandpa Roy, when he was a boy in 1904, he was taught by men who fought in the actual Civil War. And only 8 decades passed and my high school class put the tassels on the other side. Started on our way full of naivete on the great American ride. The months and years slide past, each more quickly than the last. Pretty soon you look around and you'll see 100 years ain't what it used to be. Oh, got it!
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah,
be doing for my heart? If I use the wrong pillow, I might have trouble getting out of bed. My hair grows in my ears and nose now more than on my...
It's the end of the world as we know it, and he feels fine. Joe Soucheray.
Okay, you're not going to believe this story, but I have a witness. He was there. He helped me. It was yesterday. The son and I dragged a couple of old greasy triples out of the cylinder shed yesterday, 2 700 old Yamaha Mountain Maxes. You pop the cover or pop the cap off the gas tank. They passed, mind you. These things didn't run once last winter, not once.
They smelled the gas smell test?
They passed the sniff test.
Huh.
Last time they ran was 22, 23. But I've got this really awesome new battery operated siphon gizmo. And so they each had about 3 gallons, and we siphoned out all the gas just to be, careful. Put in a gallon each. And then I always, with these triples, I always prime the cylinders. I put a little spritz of gas right down the spark plug hole. Both of them, first pull. They started, drew gas out of the tank, and ran like they had just run the day before. And it was absolutely amazing. And I think the reason why is when I put them away, I put a big dose of Seafoam in the 2 gallons. I ran them for a good 5-10 minutes, then shut them down. And then I drained the gas, but there was gas in those carbs. There's 3 carburetors, and I couldn't believe it. They ran like brand new. It doesn't seem like a true story, but it's absolutely.
I don't know if it's true.
I know, sure. I'm Rook. I don't know if I buy it.
It's
I don't know if I buy it.
Perfect.
Ben was right there. We were both looking at each other going, no way, no way.
I would believe Ben, but I don't know if I believe you.
Anyway, that's my Seafoam story of the day. It happened, it worked, and I'm just amazed. Swing over to seafoamworks.com and you'll find all the information you'll ever need about using all the various Seafoam products, including the motor treatment, gas, diesel, 1-lungers, 12, greasy triples. Seafoam is the answer for worry-free operation. A local company with a global reach and truly a wonderful product in the world of bad gas, Seafoam.
John, you looked up where the Star Tribune prior to the election ran the story about the allegations that Johnson didn't live in the district.
Yes, I did. It is in the October 26th issue. That was a Saturday. Mm-hmm. And it's page 2 of the Local. Yep. And it's on the top right-hand side. Yep. You know what I mean? I don't know what you call that newspaper. Yep. It says residency called into question in Roseville, and then the story covers the entire page.
Oh,
good.
Just one column
of
the entire page.
Yeah.
And basically it's a reiteration of everything we've talked about, what Wickstrom was saying, Johnson's reply, et cetera, et cetera. So, although Johnson's reply is not very good.
Was it curt?
He just said, we decided to move. We haven't found a place to live fully or words to that effect. Exactly. It's a you'd look at it and go, huh?
He hung up on the Pioneer Press at the same time period.
Oh, he did?
Johnson asked for an explanation, hung up on the Pioneer Press.
That'll do it. Okay, case, we're done. Yeah, fine.
Here's John Haidt in his newsroom.
Thank you, Joe.
That's how you make friends with reporters. Right. Hang up on them. They're not going to take that out on you in print. Don't worry about it.
Hey, by the way, a greasy triple for me is a trip to Wendy's. I don't know what a triple for
These
you
are
is.
just wonderful old 2-stroke snowmobiles that
Got it.
just rip and roar. A lot of fun.
This news is brought to you by North American Banking Company. An extreme cold warning for parts of Minnesota, including parts of the metro. That's Anoka, the part of the metro, until noon tomorrow. We're not the only cold place, by the way. Most of the U.S. from the Rockies into the plains are seeing colder than normal temps this week. In those cold conditions, here's your warning, frostbite can develop on exposed skin in 10 minutes or less. So make sure you don it.
John, I want to create a link.
Yes.
Let's say, just for the sake of argument, that artificial intelligence, non-human intelligence,
Blue people,
gray people do exist, and that the powers, whoever is the ultimate power, is deciding the public cannot handle this. Maybe that person or people are right. when we have to be told to wear mittens and a hat when it's cold out, you're not prepared for anything.
But do we have to be
No,
told?
of course not. But there are many people apparently that do need that admonition.
I question that.
Well, I do too, but that's the way it is. Okay.
Okay. Perception is reality.
That's right.
Are they the same people that need to be told to make sure you drink water in the summer?
Yes.
When it's hot out.
Yes.
See,
Okay.
I question that too.
Of course you question it. You're a GLer and you don't need to be reminded of that.
You're not a moron.
You're not
It
a
drives
moron.
me crazy.
You're only a half moron.
I yell at the news. I know.
Oh, Kenny, I
know.
did the same thing this morning. You know,
Golly.
I love him, but Bill Keller's on the Fox 9 going, and remember, I go, what?
Who are you
I've lived here my
talking to?
whole life. I know that.
God.
Right.
What amuses me is that it's not that cold. I mean, I know cold.
It's cold.
No,
Well.
25 below is cold. This is nothing.
Oh, it's 19 below here.
Oh, that's again, you live somewhere.
When I went
not
to go
even on
start
Earth.
the non-truck SUV, as Kenny likes to call it, she gave me the no.
Isn't it in the garage?
Nah, she's in the garage.
You need those cold cranking amps on days like these, Reavers.
Plus, Royce's convertible's also in my garage. So
That's right, yeah. More than 167,000 Minnesotans signed up for 2025 health plans through the state's official health insurance marketplace. That number, 163, is the highest number of people to sign up for private health insurance plans since MNsure began more than a decade ago. It's also a 14% increase over 2024 signups, according to a news release.
I'm sure there'll be no fraud, and I'm sure it'll run smoothly.
Hundreds of Minnesotans joined thousands across the nation frigid Saturday to rally support for what is being called the Progressive Agenda. Young and old gathered for the march to the state capitol in St. Paul, one of hundreds of similar rallies held in the U.S. under the People's March banner. Some of the marchers carrying signs protesting President-elect Donald Trump, who took office this morning. The march, in an extension of the annual Women's March that began when Trump first entered the White House in 2017, began at St. Paul College, ended up at the steps of the Capitol. Marches took place in every state across the U.S., more than 350 in all, the largest being in Washington, D.C., where about 5,000 people were on hand. A team from Mongolia was named the winner of the 2025 World Snow Sculpting Championship in downtown Stillwater this Saturday.
What do you got?
Well, just a minute.
Okay.
Known as Team Falcon, their sculpture titled Voice took the top prize at the event's closing ceremony at Lowell Park. In second place was Trapped, a sculpture by Team Jet Set of Mexico. Team Taiwan's creation, Whispers in the Breeze, got the third place prize and was also named People's Choice and Artist's Choice. This is the fourth year that Stillwater has hosted the snow sculpting event, which this year is part of the city's World Snow Celebration that runs through January 26th.
What are you seeing with the Mongolian team?
I'm seeing, first and
hats.
foremost, they came prepared. They have got coats galore. Yeah. The big flap hats.
Yak coats.
Exactly. And their boots are fur, but they're
Big
lace
furry.
up. They're
Yes,
got big
yes.
laces, and they go all the way up to the knees.
Yeah.
And Matt, they got the 20-pound choppers on each hand.
Yeah.
What are you
Yes,
hearing?
exactly.
I'm hearing a lot of grunting.
Yes. A lot of like.
Wasn't? Oh, go. I'm sorry.
No.
I was going to say, what didn't we have the story about a year or two ago when the soccer team had the exhibition here? And didn't a
The
Mongolian
Mongolian?
kid? Didn't somebody get frostbite during a soccer game here?
Mongolians cannot get frostbite.
No, the Mongolians are immune.
They
to
refuse it.
Yeah.
And I see a lot
I
of.
see those really weird mustaches.
Yes,
Long,
and they're not
long.
full. The beard is not a
It's
full beard.
long
It's-
mustache.
It's a Fu Manchu that
Exactly.
goes down to about
Yeah.
your middle
Yeah.
of your chest.
Yeah.
And a lot of pointing. They don't really discuss. They just and the tools they have are so primitive. You know,
But they're very good at this.
that's why.
Yeah.
They do it
Number
all the
one.
time.
Yeah.
They're a
First
very
place.
hardy people.
Oh, yeah.
You got the Gobi Desert, and it's snowing in the Gobi Desert.
Yeah.
How miserable must that be?
That would be bad. What about the Mexican team?
I'm having a hard time
Maybe
with
we'll
that
just
bubble.
let's work on that a little bit.
I'm having a hard time.
The Minnesota State Fair has announced tickets will increase like $2
John.
in each category. What? What?
You're
What did I do?
such a card.
It's new news. New news. The fair said the price increase is due to a $22 million investment in the historic Lee and Rose Warner Coliseum.
They're like colleges. They got an endowment.
Yeah.
Tap into it.
Right.
Until January 26th, which is this upcoming Sunday, you'll be able to get tickets for $15. That's the 2024 price. After that, they'll be available at the pre-fair discount price of $17. The 2025 State Fair runs from August 21st to September 1st.
Thank
They're
God
upping
we're-
the parking by $5 too.
Thank God we're dialing her back a few days, huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, yeah, we're not going to.
Why don't we take a quick break here? And we have lots of national news, of course. Let's hear from our friend, Mr. Reavers.
How about this? We need to welcome a new friend into the Garage Logic podcast rotation.
Welcome, family.
Fast Photo Film Lab. Hey, do you want
How
your photos?
fast?
You're going to get them fast. They're in Bloomington, Minnesota. You can give them a call today at 952-835-1815 or visit their website, which is fastphotofilm.com. Photo is spelled with an F, not a PH. Fastphotofilm.com. They are an old-fashioned photo lab that offers in-house film processing, photo scanning, photo restoration, custom greeting cards for any occasion, photo books, passport photos for any country by appointment, and more. You got a photo idea? They're going to be able to help you out. It's the best time of the year to dust off that old box of photographs and receive 50% off our Pro Scan prices. The more photos you have, the greater the savings. Every family has that box of memories, and often they don't know what to do with them. Digitize them for safekeeping that generations can enjoy.
That's true.
Is.
They're just sitting around in the attic in the basement doing nothing.
Go to their website, too. Their website's really cool.
Okay.
In fact, I'm probably going to be using them here shortly.
Yeah, I got stuff.
Bring your box of family memories with their 50% off special. And they digitize photos up to 12 by 17 inches, negatives, and slides. So once again, go online and visit fastphotofilm.com. Photo is spelled with an F. Fastphotofilm.com, or give them a call at 952-835-1815 and mention that you heard about them right here on the Garage Logic Podcast.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Soucheray.
In other news, national and international news, Donald Trump sworn in this morning as the 47th President of the United States, promising a revolution of common sense and taking charge as Republicans assume unified control of Washington. He pledged to completely and totally reverse the actions of his predecessor. Trump, who overcame impeachments, criminal indictments, and a pair of assassination attempts to win another term in the White House, says he'll act swiftly with executive orders already being prepared. Joe, did you just, you said you saw some video of him signing them?
There's
already?
a signing ceremony. I don't think it has anything to do with executive orders.
Oh, okay. Well, he's going to sign a bunch of those today, already prepared for his signature, clamping down on border crossings, increasing fossil fuel development, and diversity and inclusion programs across the federal government. Now, Trump will start implementing a far-reaching agenda when he takes office today, but a new poll finds, despite his claims of an unprecedented and powerful mandate, the incoming president lacks broad support for some of his top priorities. The Associated Press NORC poll says U.S. adults are split on several things, including mass deportations. Most support deporting immigrants convicted, though, of crimes. Nearly half of U.S. adults oppose tariffs on all foreign goods. Only about 2 in 10 support pardoning most January 6th participants. About half of Americans somewhat or strongly oppose pulling out of the Paris Climate Agreement. Almost half of U.S. adults somewhat or strongly oppose getting rid of protections for transgender students, while about 3 in 10 are in favor. The rest are neutral. Despite the talk of a mandate by the Trump campaign, the new president received less than 50% of the vote, winning by a 1.5% margin percentage-wise, 49.9% to 48.4%.
You were asking earlier about the W, right? You were saying he looks like a guy I could hang out with and whatnot. There is audio of him at the Trump inauguration.
It's good stuff, man, right? Huh? You go through? Huh? Yeah, all right, okay, good. Yeah. You go through? All right. All right. That's pretty good, man. Okay. Who's next?
Next. That's Frank.
Is it?
Doing the W
Frank.
impersonation at the inauguration.
In his speech, the president called for the Department of Government Efficiency, saying he will establish it, but it looks like one of the folks who was supposed to lead that department will not help run it. That would be Vivek Ramaswamy. Ramaswamy, the entrepreneur who was tapped by the president-elect to co-lead his cost-cutting efforts with Elon Musk, is leaving the initiative to run for governor of Ohio, according to a person close to Ramaswamy. Ramaswamy's exit clears the path for Musk, the top donor and confidant to Trump, to run the show at Doge. Political reporting Sunday that Ramaswamy could resign from Doge before launching a bid for the governorship. The person close to Ramaswamy said he expects to kick off his gubernatorial bid next week.
What was that cartoon with the supposed Russian agent and his companion was Natasha?
Bullwinkle.
Boris.
Yeah, but Natasha
Boris
was
and
female,
Natasha.
right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
She,
Yeah,
Melania or Melanoma or wherever the hell her name is, she's got a little of that Natasha look going with the hat down, the flat-brimmed hat.
Yeah, it
pulled
leaves
down.
a little to the
I
imagination.
think so.
You got a little pushback from CI ladies on YouTube when you said that women want to be her.
No, that's not what I said. I said women of the left who are going to rip her are being hypocritical because they would kill to look as good as she does. I didn't say anything about CI girls.
From Karen, no, I did. That was me.
Oh.
And from Karen, her response to that is, no, Joe, not every woman wants to be Melania. Not even every woman thinks she's gorgeous. Can we please move on?
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
So-
Okay, Karen.
Well, I think we're going to get 4 more years of this.
Well, all I'm saying is she's pretty classy looking today. Okay?
If you think so, I mean, that's fine.
It's like your opinion, man.
The direct quote that I got, y'all, Melanie's outfit is on point with 2 fires for my oldest daughter.
All right.
okay then.
Yep.
President-elect Trump launched his own cryptocurrency Friday night. I'd like for a full explanation right now. Let's go to the mayor, Mr. Joe Soucheray.
Can I share the question you had for me earlier about crypto?
Yeah.
He looked at me because I do a little crypto here and there, and he said, "Do you mine this in the ground?
What?
What kind of coin is
Can
it?
you
let me-
buy a coin or a? You have to buy a
Let,
bit.
let me defend you, Joe.
Yeah.
I had this conversation with somebody at my house
Yeah.
last night who knows about it.
Yeah.
15 minutes. I asked both those questions,
Yeah, thank
and
you.
I still have no idea.
Yeah.
how-
Do you dig
It's-
a hole in the ground? Hey, there's
Online
one.
digital currency.
It's something
value is
you
whatever.
never hold in your hand, right?
Nope.
I can't buy a pack of Marlboros with it.
Nope.
Is crypto coin the same as Bitcoin?
It's similar. Well, your oldest this kid has got it.
Yeah,
I was
he
gonna
has
say,
his, he
he's
has
gotta
his
be
number
it.
2 where he's selling.
That Haktua girl actually screwed a bunch of people and then disappeared with her own.
She did, but Kenny, here's the thing: if you are dumb enough to fall for that, you deserve to lose your money.
So, okay, this was part of my question for that person I was talking to. How can this not be regulated when you got people pouring money into it like
well,
crazy?
they're trying to. That's why what's his name is in prison because he
Who dat?
defrauded Brinkman.
Oh.
He defrauded all
Okay,
those
but
people.
what does this
Crypto guy.
mean that Bitcoin US and US dollars is trading right now at 103,000?
Well, it was 104 this morning.
Okay. I mean,
No, you already lost money.
Yeah,
it opened at
So
101. Its high was 108. Its low was 99.
And where are you reading this? Because I don't see it in the Wall Street Journal.
This is yahoo.com on finances.
I don't
Chris.
buy it. It's fake.
Okay.
what about the IRS?
Yeah.
If you deduct money from your crypto account and it becomes an actual asset, meaning it's an actual monetary number.
How do you do that?
It's a simple transfer. It's almost like Kenny making an online payment. It's just that easy. You know, if you made
Did you get a W-2 or 9?
would get a
or-
1099.
Or whatever the hell it is.
Linda Keller Tax Service.
take care of it for you?
She'll take care of it for you.
Well, she
wife,
doesn't have to worry about that with me.
No,
me neither.
Here comes Kenny with his rusty box of.
I'm worried about the guy that's paid me $80 to move something for him. I'm worried, should I tell Linda about that or should I just keep that under my hat?
Well, the beautiful thing about Linda,
Well,
she
you
hates.
revealed it now.
Right. But the beautiful thing
Whoops.
about Linda, she hates the government more than we do.
Okay, so
But she's not going to do anything illegal.
No,
She's
no,
protecting
no.
me from myself.
Correct. Yes.
so a year ago it was selling at 40,077. So right now it's worth
For one bit.
whatever
One
a
coin.
Bitcoin is. I
Let's
I
just-
don't know.
I was telling this to Joe earlier. When Trump got elected, it absolutely skyrocketed.
Well, it says he's worth $59 billion in Bitcoin
In one day.
in one day. That's just not, bring on the aliens because that ain't real.
Yeah.
Where's the blue guy?
Let's
I
go.
need this to stop.
By the way, shortly after Sunday, yesterday, after he made a bunch of money, his wife, Melania, joined him with her own launch, Melania, which was worth more than $5 billion within a couple of hours. So I don't know what any of
America.
that means.
Joe,
Hashtag.
what about a GL Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Let's bilk these guys, get $1 billion each, and then
Let's do a
fall off.
soupy sales. Go into your mom's purse and get me all that paper money.
Let's go.
That worthless junk that nobody
Yeah.
takes anymore. And then we'll skedaddle. We'll get out of here.
TikTok announcing it's restoring service just hours yesterday after President-elect Trump said he'd signed an executive order on his first day in office to delay enforcing the U.S. ban of the social media platform. They went dark on Saturday night, but by Sunday afternoon, services were restored for many users. Part of this is already getting some pushback. The decision faced immediate pushback from two congressmen normally considered allies of Donald Trump. Republican Senator Tom Cotton, the chair of the Select Committee on Intelligence, said in a joint statement with Senator Pete Rickards of Nebraska, there's no legal basis for any extension of the law's effective date now that it had taken effect, and that it should be kept in order.
This was so fun on Saturday night, and my son explained to me why all of this happened. He's 24. He thinks that Barron Trump is one of the main reasons Donald got elected, because it was Barron's idea to have Donald go on all the podcasts that he did, exposing him to a younger audience. So at 9, hold on, I want to get the exact time. It was 9:15 on my TikTok, because I joined last week. We regret that a U.S. law banning TikTok will take effect on January 19th and force us to make our services temporarily unavailable. 15 minutes later, sorry, TikTok isn't available right now. blah, 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 the law, and then this paragraph. We are fortunate that President Trump has indicated that he will work with us on a solution to reinstate TikTok once he takes office. And then, like John said yesterday, this is so awesome. We are getting played. Oh, my God, we're getting played. Welcome back. Thanks for your patience and support. As a result of President Trump's efforts, TikTok is back in the USA. And my son is convinced me that this is Barron's idea, and it was all a complete and total sham. They didn't have to pull the plug Saturday in order to plug it back in on Sunday, that we all got played. And he's probably right.
I'd check out that Barron for Marfan syndrome.
I don't know
well,
what
he's
that
8
is.
feet tall. I mean,
Jesus.
Robert Waldo.
Out of all of that, that's what you got.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Big kid. Big kid.
Big kid.
Yep.
President.
Tremendous.
So it was a lot of fun getting played by the Trump administration
Oh, remember,
and TikTok.
he was highly against TikTok for a long time. Donald
Right.
Trump.
Until he wasn't.
Until he
But then
wasn't,
last
yeah.
week, both him and Biden were saying we're not going to enforce it.
Yeah. President Biden on Monday pardoning Dr. Anthony Fauci, retired General Mark Milley, and members and staff members of the House committee that investigated the January 6th attack on the Capitol in an extraordinary use of the powers of the presidency in his final hours to guard against what he called potential revenge by the incoming Trump administration. Biden also extended pardons to the U.S. Capitol and to D.C. Metropolitan Police officers who testified before the House committee about their experiences that day, overrun by an angry, violent mob of Trump supporters. The decision by Biden comes after Donald Trump warned of an enemies list filled with those who have crossed him politically or sought to hold him accountable for his attempt to overturn the 2020 election and his role in the storming of the Capitol. President Biden also pardoned 5 members of his family in his last minutes in office, saying in a statement that he did so not because they did anything wrong, but because he feared political attacks from incoming President Donald Trump. And just moments before leaving office, President Biden commuted the life sentence of Leonard Peltier, who was convicted in the 1975 killings of 2 FBI agents. Peltier was denied parole as recently as July, wasn't eligible again until 2026. He was serving a life sentence for the deaths of the agents during a standoff on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in South Dakota. He will transition to home confinement, Biden said in a statement. Biden's action follows decades of lobbying and protests on Peltier's behalf by Native American leaders, human rights activists, liberal lawmakers, and celebrities who maintained he was wrongfully convicted. Advocates for his release have included Archbishop Desmond Tutu, Coretta Scott King, actor and director Robert Redford, and musicians Pete Seeger, Harry Belafonte, Steve Van Zandt, and Jackson Brown.
What's Dr. Jill going to do now? Is she going to have to be a school marm? She's going to get herself a job?
Yeah, probably.
You're a doctor, you know.
John, I think you missed one.
Yeah.
I have it here. On his final day in office, Joe Biden has also pardoned all of the referees in the Chiefs games, both upcoming and also in the past.
Yeah, well, when you play the Chiefs, you're also playing the refs.
Yes, you are.
It's, you know what disturbs me about this is when he gets close to the sideline.
He flops.
Or he just uses it and he stays in bounds and he keeps going and keeps going.
Yeah.
I told somebody I was watching a game with, somebody just has to blow him up on the sideline. That's what has to happen.
And then they'll get a penalty.
Joe,
They will, yeah.
what was the reaction in your house with the CP and all the Tay-Tay fans? How'd that go over
Tell
in
them
your
the
house?
story. Please tell them the story.
This woman,
Uh-oh.
Okay, well, first we're talking about 45, 50 years of marriage, but go ahead. This woman
has, and this is God's truth. This woman has never worn a sweatshirt in her life. That just isn't her deal.
All right.
Yep.
She's too fashionable, independently wealthy.
She is. Yeah.
So never, all day Saturday, all day long, she wore a Chiefs sweatshirt.
I can't picture that.
Has this enhanced your sports viewing at home?
No.
No.
How is it explaining that you don't kick a field goal on second down? How's that conversation go?
And there's no informing her that Mahomes gets favorable calls.
Oh no, you can't. No, that's just wrong.
Well, they shouldn't even be allowed to touch him.
That's her JFK, isn't it? Basically,
yeah. It's just. Then the Chiefs sweatshirt got carefully folded and put away.
Well, you got to save it
I'm
for
sure
next
it'll
week.
come out next week. When
Now,
they have the title game.
Is she clutching her pearls every time the Kelsey boy hits the ground?
Oh,
is she worried?
almost swoons.
Now, has this transitioned into her then also having to watch all the other games? Because then she's got to figure out who the Chiefs have to, strategize against.
I'm going to guess no.
No.
Just the Chiefs.
Pretty much the Chiefs.
Okay, so then the final question. Is she a subscriber to the Kelsey podcast?
Oh, boy.
And do you come home, walk in the door, and that podcast is blaring, much to your chagrin?
No, but I'm routinely told who the guest was.
So she knows.
Oh, yeah.
Does she tell you how much how much income that podcast generates?
Every day.
She knows all the downloads, all the stats.
And she doesn't buy the truism that this is all they're benefiting from this Taylor Swift arrangement. Right. And she gets very angry when I say that, well, Taylor's going to be feeding him with a straw here in about 5 years. That doesn't go well either.
Sure, it doesn't. Yeah.
He was born with CTE. That hillbilly's going to be looking out the window thinking,
well, so all you need
he's
to do,
a windshield licker.
All we need you to do is start dating the biggest pop star in the world, and we're off to a roaring success.
I told her that. I said, believe me, I got news for you. If Taylor Swift somehow took a fancy to me, we'd have the same numbers as New Heights.
No. It wouldn't be Tay-Tay. It would be somebody more in your wheelhouse, like, I don't know, Barbara Streisand or Jane Fonda or somebody like that. Somebody closer.
Why are we like that to you, Joe?
What do they call Jane?
I mean,
isn't it Hanoi Jane, or what
like
was her
that,
nickname?
yeah.
Hanoi.
Jane, yeah. Oh, yeah. Kelsey had a very nice game, though, Saturday. He was.
I know.
Played
Joe heard all about it.
I heard all about it.
Quite well. Quite well. 3 Israeli women who were held hostage by Hamas in the Gaza Strip for roughly 470 days released yesterday after a long-awaited ceasefire deal between Hamas and Israel went into effect. About 90 Palestinians imprisoned in Israel were also released. The temporary truce is seen as a potential path to ending the 15-month war. The 3 women are among a set of 33 hostages Hamas is expected to free in the next 6 weeks in exchange for hundreds of imprisoned Palestinians. The exchange is part of the first phase of the ceasefire deal, which includes a 42-day pause in fighting and a withdrawal of Israeli forces from densely populated areas in Gaza.
John, has there been any talk about Ukraine, Russia, and Trump?
Not that I've seen, just the
Okay.
normal.
Yeah, I haven't been paying attention enough to know.
The normal stuff. So I don't think he even brought it up, did he?
I don't think
During his
so.
speech
I haven't heard a
today?
thing lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that should be something interesting to watch for here in the coming months.
Very, yes. And it's happened again. A Central Florida woman was arrested over the weekend on drug possession charges for a second time this month. During her most recent arrest, and this is the second person this has happened to recently, she was carrying her drugs in a bag with the words, "Definitely not a bag full of drugs," printed on it.
Jesus.
Remember we talked about this a couple, 3 months ago.
Yep.
Somebody in Portland had the same bag full of drugs.
Yep.
Well, 31-year-old Taryn Ackrey of Melbourne, Florida, booked into the Brevard County Jail with several drug-related charges, trafficking in meth, possession of drug paraphernalia. She was arrested after after her vehicle was pulled over. The driver consented to a search of the vehicle, saying nothing illegal was in there, but deputies discovered the bag that said definitely not a bag full of drugs, with a lot of drugs, needles, and other things in it. Now, you may remember that story. It was Portland, Oregon last October where a couple was stopped and arrested with a similar bag full of drugs. Ackrey is currently being held in jail without bond.
Well, Kenny, they clearly need to attend your school, right?
Yeah. It's criminally. Was it?
No, the Gumption County Institute for the Criminally Incompetent.
Yeah.
You don't label your drugs.
I'll teach them how to break the law and get away with it.
John, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And time out here.
82, I was 17, my old man was 55. If you do the math between the two of us, that's 72 years of life. An eternity, so it seemed to me. How could anything live that long? Now I say my folks were only 84 the year that they passed on. For a little while it seems you got time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you see 100 years ain't what it used to be. And my grandpa Roy, when he was a boy in 1904, he was taught by men who fought in the actual Civil War. And only 8 decades passed, and my high school class put the tassels on the other side. Started on our way full of naivete on the great American ride. The months and years slide past, each more quickly than the last. Pretty soon you look around and you'll see 100 years ain't what it used to be. Oh, got it!
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Johnny, hey!
You cannot stop him. He'll just make a move. Joe Soucheray.
You know, our Vikings, well, the whole NFC North has been quite a disappointment this year. Packers have gone down, the Lions have gone down, the Vikings have gone down. No team got past the first playoff game.
Yeah.
But we are number one. The
Oh.
Vikings are number one in the NFL. This is from Breitbart. A new ranking of the most dangerous NFL stadiums reveals that the Minnesota Vikings U.S. Bank Stadium and the Denver Broncos Empower Field are the most dangerous stadiums for football fans to attend.
Really?
The list, compiled by Sportsbook Review, examined the crime rates in the communities that host NFL stadiums and polled more than 3,000 football fans on their impressions of safety of attending pro football games. And turns out that the Vikings fans, see, I went. I thought it was fine.
Yeah, you bought a hat.
I had a hat, and I had a walking taco, and
Old deal.
some of that even got in my mouth. The two other teams made the list for violent crime statistics, with the Broncos having the worst violent crime rate, followed by the Chiefs and the Texans. But added to the list was the Baltimore Ravens in fourth place, Tennessee in last place. But we're
It's
number
got to be
one.
Green Bay has got to be last, right?
I don't know, but
Is it sorry, you said it's inside the stadium or around the stadium?
well, obviously it would be around.
Okay.
I'm who did this? I'm trying to find out who stood to gain by telling me this. Sportsbook Review.
There it is, folks.
The list was compiled by Sportsbook Review. It examined the crime rates, and I think U.S. Bank's getting a bum rap on this. I have never detected a
Well,
thing.
remember though,
I went to a day game.
how long ago was it that Ziggy asked for us to pay for his security gate?
That's true.
Remember, around the
But
facility.
that was post George Floyd era. That was
sure, but that was obviously an indication that there were some issues.
But our Viking? I mean, the thing is sold out. The fans are having a great time. What's the problem?
Can you get there on a bicycle?
I'm
That's
sure
all
you
I
can.
care about.
I'm sure you can.
I ride my bicycle.
A lot of people say the Cowboys is worst, but a lot of people say Philadelphia is the stadium that fans most fear to attend.
You should not attend an Eagles
I
game if you are an
wouldn't.
opposing
I
fan.
wouldn't.
Well, we saw the case of the Green Bay Packer gal, not Sunday, but last week. You saw that story, right, Joe?
Of course I did. The guy lost his job.
Right.
I don't know what she said that really got him fired up. Maybe nothing.
Nothing. Would be
We
my
don't know.
guess.
I don't know anything. But I don't know why we're top. We're tied with Denver as the worst for violent crime. I don't think that's true.
That's not what I hear. I hear downtown Minneapolis is very safe.
That's what I'm saying.
Very, very safe.
We're told that it's very safe.
Yeah. Come on down.
Come on down.
See what all the fuss is about.
Come on down. Meet the fellas.
Now, come on in. Come on in. And meet the
I went to
fellas.
the game I went to was about December 6th or so. It was a home game against Atlanta, noon start or 1 or whatever they do. And one of the kids I used to have lives downtown Minneapolis. And he walked from the stadium to where he lives.
Oh, really?
And I said, I'm going to call you later to make sure you got home. And I don't know what good it would have done me had he not answered the phone. But he said it was fine. Although I wouldn't take him on.
Right.
He's bigger than that Barron Trump.
What was the phrase you used? Does he suffer from?
Well, at Marfam's, I did check his feet out and his hands. He's a big fella. Only because
Yes, sir.
they come to us all the way from the traveling linemen's in West Las Vegas, Nevada. No, Lake Las Vegas, Nevada. It was on this day.
Joe, today is already January 20th.
Well, we had an active day. It was on this day in 1896. What day is this?
Jan 20.
Well, on a theatrical tour, Calamity Jane, whose real name was what?
Martha.
Stewart.
God,
No.
you got the first name right.
Damn it, Martha. It's a clunky last name.
Yeah,
Ends
Martha
in a Y.
Cannery Burke.
Cannery. Yeah, Cannery.
Martha Cannery Burke. Calamity Jane appeared at the Palace Museum in Minneapolis dressed in the male attire of buckskin jacket and trousers and giving the people of the eastern cities, apparently we were considered east, an opportunity of seeing the woman scout who was made so famous throughout her daring career in the West and Black Hill countries.
That woman could pop a cork, if you know what I'm saying.
I think so.
Yeah, she was thirsty.
On this day,
On January 20th.
in 1961, I remember this on this day in history. I don't remember it happening. I remember reading about it on this day in history. A fire destroyed the Crosby family home, which had been built at the foot of Montreal Street in St. Paul. It is now the site of Crosby Farm Park. So there was a big house down there.
I don't remember that.
I
but,
don't either. But I remember it on this day.
Yeah.
On this day,
On January 20th.
Wait. Remind me, what is the Crosby family famous for? Is it a mill? What were
Yeah,
they
weren't
famous?
they?
well, the mill was Crosby Washburn, but did the Crosbys live in St. Paul? I thought all those wasps live in Minneapolis.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah. I don't know if could you look that up?
Already, yeah.
Crosby family fame, St. Paul, Minnesota. House burned down.
How do you spell Saint?
That's a lot.
Is John doing it because John's faster than you?
St. Paul businessman and civic leader Oliver Crosby.
Oliver Crosby.
A New Englander from Maine came to St. Paul in 1876 with an inclination for mechanics. He became a holder of 36 patents and founded the American Hoist and Derrick.
That's right.
That's what it is.
That's right.
Okay.
That's big
Now,
money.
didn't descendants of Oliver build the big mansion in St. Paul that was called, help me, what's the rook?
Stonebridge?
Stonebridge.
Crosby wanted a mansion and in 1907 purchased 28 acres on the western bluff overlooking the Mississippi. The Newburgh mansion was with 24 main rooms was built on a beautifully designed site. It was named after a stone bridge that crossed a ravine on the property.
Two things. A curb cut is still there. You can see a curb cut that would have gone into the mansion. And the stone bridge is
Bridge is
still there.
I drive by it every day.
Like an approach for their
Yes,
driveway.
yes. And on that property was a beautiful lake.
Shut your mouth.
No, there's
Cool.
pictures of it with rowboats on them.
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
There was actually 2 artificial lakes and a reservoir to feed
Yeah.
waterfalls.
Yeah. And
Wow.
and I think we lost it. I don't think it burned. I think it was torn down in the mid 50s,
It's too expensive to maintain.
and it's
Listen
now
to
it's
you.
now houses.
Listen to
Our beloved boss
What a-
lived in that area.
What a shame.
Eventually, the mansion was raised in 1953 to make way for construction of new
What
houses.
in the hell is wrong with us? Wow.
God, I think today you would not take it down. It was
No.
How do you build a lake?
you dig a hole and
It's like putting a mountain together. You just need
full
some
of water.
dirt.
Joe's Mountain.
Yeah, Poop Mountain.
So the first Crosby home apparently was where Crosby Farm Park is now, and then they built that tremendous mansion in what is now, what would that be called? Rook King's Maplewood?
Yes. Yeah.
And a little known fact, he was, Oliver was the great-great-great-grandfather of Sidney.
Sid Crosby?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Born
Who
and
went-
raised in Faribault,
Who
Minnesota.
went to Shattuck? No, he's not born there.
I only say that because it gets everybody wound up.
Any shirt tail to bang or no?
On this day,
On January 20th.
in 1969, President Lyndon B. Johnson, what did the B stand for?
Baines.
Baines.
Bastard.
Ooh.
Bestowed the Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honor awarded by the U.S., on civil rights activist Roy Wilkins. Wilkins was born in Mississippi, but spent most of his life in St. Paul. In 1923, he graduated from the U of M, where he was the Minnesota Daily's first black reporter and editor. He served as executive director of the NAACP from 1955 to 1977. A postage stamp honoring Wilkins was issued in 2001.
I don't know anything about him, but I can give you a little known fact, John, about Lyndon B. Johnson. It was he, in fact, that ordered both the CIA and FBI to take out the hit on JFK.
Well, Trump says he'll tell us that. If
He'll get all the inside.
They're
info.
having lunch right now.
they're having the congressional lunch.
I wonder what's on the menu.
Oh, man. I bet some good rice
Amy,
pilaf.
Amy just spoke, and now she's sitting right next to him.
They must be saying grace because their heads are bowed.
They could put their hands on each other's knees.
Right.
They're so close.
Look at Natasha. Look at Natasha with that head down, that hat.
Wait a minute. Why is Amy sitting next to him?
I don't know. She was in charge of the whole ceremony today.
Oh, I didn't know that.
She's going to
Put
flip.
everything together.
She's coming over to our side.
I don't think so.
You're
A,
good. How
speak
about
for
that?
yourself. and
Your
B,
good
no,
friend.
she's not.
Your good friend Amy Klobuchar.
She used to be.
Yeah.
And finally, on this day,
Man, a long one on Jan 20.
1981,
Yes, sir.
Lowell Bruce Langan, who grew up in Odin, Minnesota,
Where's that?
was one of 52 hostages released from the American embassy in Tehran after being held by Islamic militants for 444 days during the Iran hostage crisis. Langdon was charge d'affaires at the embassy. Charge d'affaires?
Charge d'affaires.
Yeah, at the embassy.
Odin is in Watonwan County.
Watonwan's a W county. Your W counties are, the hell are they?
Waldorf.
Wabasha, Wadena,
Wahlberg.
Wasika, Watonwan, Winona, Wilkin, and Wright.
Oh, a lot of W's.
Wowsies.
Are you out there?
Oh,
Yes.
my God.
What?
Can't hear him.
Yep.
Can't hear him.
Where's
hear
that
'em.
on the list of the counties? What number?
I don't know.
Probably about 84.
I love when
No,
he starts talking out there, he starts by yelling and then drifts off. So it's, what do you think? So I can't hear a damn word he's saying.
That's just killer podcasting, let me tell you.
It
It makes
really
me
is.
proud. Really makes me
Thank
proud.
you very much, and God help us continue this peaceful day of inauguration.
And to the 282 watching right now on YouTube, hey, smash that like button for us, would you?
Kenny, it was at 290 before Pat started talking. Dang it.
Please do us a favor.
And he's talking right now, and I have no idea.
I
what to
have
say.
information. Please hit the subscribe button, as Kenny just mentioned, on the Garage Logic YouTube channel, because every single day you can watch Garage Logic do our show live on YouTube each and every single day. You can also follow us along on all of our social media accounts before they get extinct. Anyway, Twitter, what are we on? Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Just search Garage Logic.
I think it's called X.
On social media. Some call it X, some call it Twitter, whatever you'd like to call it. Just search for Garage Logic and sign up for the Daily Logician. It's an email. It comes to your inbox each and every single day. And it also includes the most recent episode of the podcast. We will catch you again tomorrow. Cha. Inauguration Day, Cha. I am in the room.